Good morning, and thank you, Pastor Mallory, and thank you to all the people at Millennium Baptist Church. I'm David LaFontaine, the Executive Director of Community Ventures, and we are truly here to turn a new page in the history of West Parkside. We're here to cut the ribbon, of course, for Centennial Village, as has already been said about 3 times, marking the end of almost a decade of planning and fundraising and then a 20-month construction process. Community Ventures' mission is to work in partnership with local community organizations to expand the supply of affordable housing, to increase environmental sustainability, and to revitalize neighborhoods. And I think that we have achieved all 4 of those things here today, and we're very proud of the partnership that we have with Parkside Association. That partnership started in, I think, about the year 2000 with the first conversations about what could be done to start changing and improving the neighborhood. Of course, Parkside Association has already been worked, as Lucinda has already mentioned, for years before they brought us in. It took us about 6 years to get to the end of our first project in West Parkside, which was the renovation of 26 units for affordable home ownership. That was completed in 2006. And then took us another 12 years to get to this point. So we're really proud to be here. Before going any further, I want to stop and acknowledge the boards of the 2 organizations. And I just want to ask, first of all, for all the members of the Board of Community Ventures to, if you're already standing, raise your hand. And if you're not standing, please stand up. And thank you so much. There's a lot of, and then I want to ask that the board of Parkside Association please stand or raise your hand. I just want to say thank you so much for all of your hard work and patience and persistence. We really could not have done it without you guys. Now I want to brag a little bit about what we've built here. What we have is, obviously, I mean, this is all clear from all the people who've been familiar, we've transformed this formerly blighted core of Parkside. Behind me is the main building, but there are 14 other buildings across the street, down, and then on surrounding blocks. There's a total of 51 new housing units that have replaced what were originally 44 vacant houses and lots that were scattered throughout this area. Those housing units will welcome families, seniors, persons with disabilities, persons coming out of nursing homes, and formerly homeless persons. So it's really a great thing here. There are also 4 commercial units. 3 running down this block, and then 1 behind me, which will probably be split into 2, so it'll end up being 2 units. One of those units is already leased to Parkside Association, which will be occupying that, and then the other is Star Fusion Express. They're going to be opening this fall, and they're going to be serving food a little bit later this morning, so you can look forward to that. As you might be able to tell from the kind of elongated time frame I mentioned earlier, it's kind of hard to develop affordable housing. It is a long, hard road, and I think with Centennial Village, we demonstrated pretty much every single way in which it's hard. And for that reason, we really owe a deep debt of gratitude to the organizations that worked along with us, the public agencies, our investor, PNC Bank, who I'm not seeing here, and then, of course, the political leadership. And the staffs, those organizations didn't just, of course, fund us. Their staffs had to do a lot of extra work because of the problems we encountered here. And I just want to express my very deep thanks to those organizations. I think that the reason they were willing to do it is that we're really essentially all on the same team here. The goal here is to make sure that every family has access to a decent, affordable home and a safe, attractive neighborhood. And I think that we have a long way to go before we get there, but we've taken a nice step here now with the completion of Centennial Village. So we received support from a lot of organizations. I'm going to mention a few of them. The Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, the Philadelphia Division of Housing Community Development, also known as the city, the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority, the Philadelphia Commerce Department, the West Philadelphia Empowerment Zone, the political leadership, and especially Councilman Curtis Jones and Senator Vincent Hughes, and then and last and extremely not least, Parkside Associates itself, our partner, and headed for that entire time by Lucinda Hudson. Lucinda. Yes. Lucinda has been working tirelessly for West Parkside for decades, and she has advocated with us for small businesses, for local tradespeople. She helped us organize a pre-apprenticeship training program to get more young people into the building trades unions. I can't say enough about what a joy it's been to work with Lucinda, and I want to ask her if she can come to the podium now, say a few words.
Thank you, everyone, and just thank you. I am very humble today for the first thing, but I'm also very proud of this community, for a community that has stuck with me. There has been some issues, yes, but they have stuck with me, rallied with me, fought with me, celebrated with me during this whole process. This was not an easy process. And I also like to acknowledge some of my own special people that have supported me since they've been in the community. First of all, Jeff Brown. Paul Brower of Brown Family ShopRite. Each and every time that I have approached Brown Family ShopRite, I just cannot say enough about them. They have supported us from day one. When they first moved into the community, first of all, they took a chance on us with the supermarket in the mall. That was the first thing. And the second thing is when they moved into the neighborhood, they put their hiring office in our neighborhood so they could hire from this neighborhood. And that was a wonderful thing. They also hire our ex-offenders. Now, there's a few businesses in the mall, we're not going to call their name, they won't even look at the application of an ex-offender. But Jeff, the Brown Family ShopRite believe in giving people a fair shake and a second chance. So I'm happy about that. Also, I would like to acknowledge State Representative Vanessa Lowry Brown. And I'm sure I'm going to miss some people, so I'm not saying any more names. I just appreciate all of you guys. So, I also would like to, I did miss one person. The Business Association of West Parkside, headed by March Ogilvy, have always supported Parkside in its endeavors. They would go to the bat for us. They would support us. They call and say, do you need anything? They have always advocated for Parkside Association for years. So I just want to acknowledge that. Okay, now we will get on with the show. You do it.
Can we do this first? The project would not have been possible without the continued support of the City of Philadelphia, and the Mayor's leadership is crucial for any effort to improve our neighborhoods. Please welcome Mayor James Kenney, long an advocate for progressive causes, including affordable housing and sustainable environmental sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning. It's a pleasure to be here to cut the ribbon on this very important project for West Parkside. I want to start by thanking everyone here today for their role in making this project a reality. We're joined by all of our elected officials and all the people who were mentioned already, so I won't go through that again. This is a significant project for the Parkside community, and we've been looking forward to this ribbon cutting for a long time. I know this project has been in the works for a while. I'm excited to see it come together now. Centennial Village is a key project for the revitalization in this neighborhood and part of the reinvestment taking place across our great city. This project eliminates blight, which impacts crime, property values, and community pride. It will go a long way towards improving the quality of life for our residents. The new apartments, homes, and commercial spaces showcase the city's continuous commitment to investing in our neighborhoods. This project serves seniors, individuals with special needs, and adds much added affordable housing to the city. Developments like Centennial Village are vital to strengthen and stabilize families and communities. I just want to say to the people who in the neighborhood who stuck with this all these years, and all the work, effort, sweat, and tears that went into it. This is your day today. We're elected officials sit up here and get credit for stuff that you all do. So we want to make sure we say thank you to you and congratulations.
So now it comes to one of my favorite people, Councilman Curtis Jones, who always, he and I go round and round, and he ended up supporting me. And I just would like to say that he has been an ongoing support of this project from day one. And all of the drama that we have had, there has been much. There have been many meetings, many blood, sweat, and tears in his office and over here. But I just would like to acknowledge the fact that he has been a great supporter of this project, and we would like for him to come forward and mention some of the things.
Welcome to New Parkside. There was an old Parkside, however. There was a Parkside where I think it was David Ruffin
Right here. Viola Street.
on Viola Street OD'd. There was a Parkside that was a food desert, Jeff, before today. There was a Parkside that was a place you had to not come to but run through. I lived a stone's throw up the way in Winfield. I know. I joined the track team because of this neighborhood. You had to move quickly. But my nickname was Turtle. So, but I want you to know there were people in this community that saw beyond its condition, that saw not what it was, but what it could be. And they attracted other people who also shared that vision, including mayors and senators and council people. But at the heart of it was a community that wouldn't quit. A community that sat on their porch, introduced mayors and things like that and said, and shared their vision, and here we are today. Millions and millions of dollars later, thank you so much, but it began and continues with your vision, and for that I thank you. I thank the partnership you see up here, both federal, state, and city, because that's what, and community, because that's what it takes. If one of those legs is not evenly engaged in a project like this, it's like a table that rocks. It's like a table that's unsteady. Without people like Jeff Brown willing to commit his treasury, his future to a community like this, it wouldn't happen. And I'll say that we ain't done yet. This is a good plateau, but it's not the peak. So I look forward to the partnership you see. I look forward to the jobs that we create. I look forward to the tax revenues we receive. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman. You definitely know how to bring it home. So my next favorite person is Senator Vincent Hughes. Senator Hughes and I, we go back decades. We were both here before dirt. So he and I have a very long, wonderful relationship. But one of the things that I would like to mention, even though he might not like for me to mention it, is that he and I was in a public setting, and I said to him, Senator Hughes, are you going to support me with the PHFA project? So we was in public. So he said, yes, Lucinda. So I said, well, do I have all these witnesses now? So, you can't get out of it. So the day that we was approved, I was asleep because I was depressed, and Vincent Hughes called me. He said, Lucinda, wake up. You got it. But that was the way that he supported. He always advocated for us, and he have been with other things, not just this, but he have advocated and been on our side for many years. So now the distinguished Senator Hughes.
Shoulder than dirt. Okay. All right. That's the first time I've heard that. Some good dirt. So, was meeting with the rabbi earlier. The rabbi is right in front of us. And we were talking about the project over there, but it really relates to this one over here. And the question came up of why do we do these things? And that there clearly is a need for the immediate neighborhood, but we do it because it's bigger than the immediate neighborhood. If you hear what I'm saying. We do this to show communities that they're worthy, that they have value, that no one has forgotten about them, and that there's a real commitment to them, and that they deserve to have an investment of this kind, so that they can transform their lives and push themselves and their community forward. But we do it because other communities deserve to have the same thing. And that if we show that we can do it here, if we show that we can do it here in Parkside, that maybe somebody else in some other neighborhood around the city, or in fact around the country, they can get the spirit and believe in themselves and make the same thing happen in their neighborhood. Because too many communities don't think it can happen. Too many neighborhoods, too many families don't think that they deserve this kind of investment. Their locked out status has locked in their mind. And we're here to send a message. We're here to send a message to celebrate, to cap off, Councilman, that rainy Friday, if I remember it correctly, when we broke ground right across the street, when we put the shovels in the dirt. We're here to cap off that, but as the councilman said, this is a plateau and not the peak. The crime in this is it took 12 years to happen. Too damn long. I said it. And not apologizing for it. Too damn long. Not enough resources available for communities who have suffered in distress for too damn long. So we're here to send a message. We want more resources to come communities like this to finish the work that has to be done so the plateau can elevate to the peak and not be too damn long. All right? All right. Too damn long. I see too many skyscrapers from conception to completion within 3 years. 12 years for the neighborhood. Too damn long. I got my Jeremiah here, PHA, who's finally figured out where West Philadelphia is.
Watch it now.
And that's out of love, and he knows it. That ain't out of spite. That's a long-running joke he and I got. Brian Hudson, who's always known where West Philadelphia is. I got my mayor, I got my congressman, I got my councilman, I got my community leaders, but we need to be about the business of sending the message each and every time. Don't forget these neighborhoods. Don't forget these communities. Make the reinvestment appropriate. Do even more than what's being done, because 12 years is too damn long. You see what's happening around here. You see the revitalization that is occurring. You see the lives that are going to be transformed. You see folks moving and rushing towards these communities. Build off of that. Invest in that. Use this as an example. Send a message to the folks in Detroit, to the folks in Atlanta, to the folks in Los Angeles, in Chicago, in Miami, in San Francisco, San Diego, all across the country, that we made it happen here in Parkside, and we can make it happen in your area. Believe in yourself. This is the example. This is where the dream is realized. Send that message because it's bigger than Parkside. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Senator. That's why I love the senator, because he's forward thinking. Like, we are going to move forward with more rehabilitation of housing. Now we are getting to another young man that I have known for 100 years, also since dirt, and that is Congressman Dwight Evans, who also served us before he was congressman. And I'm just going to put him here because there's nothing else to say.
Thank you, Lucinda, for that introduction. 74 days from now, in order to keep this going, it's called voter participation. There's a direct connection between participating and outcomes. It just doesn't happen magically. It doesn't happen. We can listen to WRD, you can do it on radio, whatever, but it's called voter participation. And it's rather interesting at this time, as I look at Calvin and I look at Brian, that there's something called the housing tax credit. And that housing tax credit has a direct connection to what Brian is able to do. And if you don't have that federal housing tax credit, Brian nor Calvin can do what they do because it is your money. It's not our money, it's your money. So 72 days from now, there's a connection. There's a connection, depending on who's in charge. Tell you a little bit about that. Because when you have somebody in charge, then you can focus the agenda. Jeff Brown can't do what he does if you don't start the Fresh Food Financing Initiative, which return went on the national level. He can't do what he does because no one talked about that. So I want that connection to take place. I want people to understand that connection. You need to understand that connection. Yes, I think the celebration is great, and Lou said I don't want to rain on that, but what I look for in 74 days is an outcome. And we need that outcome to put us in a position in Washington, D.C. Because putting us in Washington, D.C. sets the policies to allow cities and states to implement what take place. Washington should be more of a partner. Washington should not sit on the sideline because these are our cities. We shouldn't desert our cities. Jim Kenney and Kurt Jones and council, they do the best they can. And sometimes they get friends upset with them, but they're trying to do the best they can. Vincent Hughes at the state level does the best he can. But the fact of the matter is, folks, we all in this together. If you want to equalize and address the question on poverty, it's not going to be done at the city level. It's not going to be done at the state level. The only place it can be done is at the national level. So that's why I say to you, 74 days from now, 2018 and 2020, I need you to think about that. Now, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I'm telling you to think about it. Because this team of people that you have up here is this team collectively. Change the environment, change the behavior. Change the environment, change the behavior. Understand that. Because when Curtis described what the environment used to look at the environment now. You create what you call community amenities. And when you create community amenities, you draw people to the community. People want the best for themselves. So don't take that lightly. But there's a consequence. And that consequence is, need you to vote. 74 days. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dwight Evans. The Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority played a multiple critical role in this project, as they do in, I guess, most affordable housing project in Philadelphia. They acquired the majority of the properties that make up Centennial Village. They provided the loan for the city funding and provided oversight during construction. The Redevelopment Authority is a key partner for the success of affordable housing. and was integral for the success of Centennial Village. Now, another young man I know, been known forever. Please welcome Executive Director of the PRA, Gregory Heller.
So as Lucinda said, there are members of my staff who have been working for a couple decades on this project. And I want to give a shout out to all of them because there are a lot of things that the Redevelopment Authority staff do in the background, quietly, that make projects like this possible. So big shout out to my staff. This project has a special place in my heart. About 15 years ago, I was working in Parkside, doing community development out here. And a lot of the things that we see today were not here. This obviously, Centennial Village wasn't here. The shopping center wasn't here. Jeff Brown ShopRite wasn't here. And I would go to these meetings of the West Parkside Business Association. And, you know, you had Lucinda and you had Miller and Marjorie and, you know, all these folks. And you had some of the same people from the city. And they were all there talking about one of the most audacious visions for a community development project I had ever seen. Huge amount of housing, this huge shopping center, jobs, creating homegrown investment tools. It was physical, it was social, it was financial, it was economic, kind of looking holistically at how do you rebuild a community. And they had this enormous vision, and it was all part of this huge Centennial district. And none of it was here yet. But that vision was inspirational, and it was contagious. And you had all these people who were committed to making that vision a reality. And I just want to say, people have thanked Cinda and everybody for sticking with it. This was an amazing feat. This is one of the most audacious community development projects, not just in Philadelphia, but anywhere that you're going to see. And your vision that was so inspirational, it's beautiful, and it's finally coming. So congratulations.
Thank you, Greg. That we did have a vision, and we had a strategic plan, and we're working our plan, and we're going to continue working our plan. I do apologize. We're going to. We sort of apologized to State Representative Vanessa Lowry Brown because we didn't have her listed as a speaker, but we are going to entertain her speaking if she wished to.
Good morning. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my friend? I'm just so grateful for Lucinda. And we talk about this being an audacious project. She is an audacious woman. Give her a big round of applause. Lucinda gets it from the bottom up. She gets it from our seniors who are in their homes, who are overhoused, overbilled, just overburdened. And she fights like a champion every day to try to lighten their load. And that's what this project does. It hits right in the heart. It's more than just about pretty neighborhoods. It's more than just about completion and having a celebration. This is about changing lives. And as I start to age and start to become towards the dirt, it is becoming ever more present to me how precious having a home is. I just buried my mom. And my mom, the biggest thing she ever wanted was a home. And she wanted a home that was something that she could manage, that she could get around. And I know as I'm closing out my mom's history in her life, how more important that is. And that's why I was just grateful that you did allow me to come up and speak, because that's what's present in my heart right now, is knowing that my mom at 71 had some dignity at the end of her life because she had a beautiful home. And that's all we want for everybody's mom and everybody's dad. There was a lady here who walked up to me and said, "How do I get in?" There's people here right now want to get in. I may be wanting to get in. This is important, guys. This is the real stuff. This is the real deal. This is why we were elected by you, so we could go and stand and fight and tell our stories and not be ashamed to tell our stories. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And we're going to continue to stand with Lucinda Hudson and to Bishop Peterson and every leader that has a dream for their community. That is our job, is to stand with you and make it become a reality, because we all love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Brown. Our goal with Centennial Village was to revitalize the community and to provide affordable housing options to our residents and neighbors, to help make our housing apartments affordable to the largest possible group, and to help us with that task. Philadelphia Housing Authority provided 23 project-based vouchers. Thank you so much to PHA for the commitment to this project in the neighborhood. And please welcome Carol Jeremiah, President and CEO of the Philadelphia Housing Authority, to the podium. Thank you.
West Philly's Kelvin Jeremiah.
Good morning, West Philadelphia. I am West. I know exactly where I am, Vincent Hughes. So this has been a running joke with Vincent. He's been very serious. Don't mind the laughter. PHA is just really delighted to be a partner. I wish we could fund every single development proposal that we receive. I think Greg does as well. I know that Brian does. We work hard to identify projects that has a kind of transformative impact on the neighborhood. And this is one of those projects. So please give a round of applause to Lucinda and David for an incredible project. PHA is proud to have invested in this project. We have about $4.8 million in supporting the residents who will be calling this development home. We're proud of the work that we're doing. Let me just tell you that we don't do this work alone. This work is difficult work. It requires endless resources that are increasingly becoming unavailable. And so I call on every one of these folks. Mayor Kinney has heard from me, Vincent Hughes, that guy there who is so we had a deal. I didn't want to do this morning. Congratulations to the Eagles. Congratulations to the Eagles on their victory. It's really nice after, 40 years to win something. And I don't want to get into any fights with anyone. So I've done my did. Mr. Jones, congratulations. But there's another issue that I just wanted to take a minute on. I think Congressman Evans mentioned that. So I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to vote against in November. That's none of your business, frankly. I am going to tell you who I'm voting for. I am going to vote for Congressman Evans, Dwight Evans. And I would ask all of you guys to do that, because there are a lot of people who claim to care about housing, to care about our communities. This guy, from the minute that he got in, I probably talk to him and meet with him on a weekly, if not a monthly basis. And he cares deeply. He understands the issues, as do his other colleagues on the stage. We want to change and transform these neighborhoods, but we cannot do that if the federal government continues to abdicate its responsibility to serve. You don't make America great again. I'm not running for anything. And I'm not lobbying for anything. This is just informational. So let me be clear. Mr. Mayor, I know you got my back. I'm an immigrant. I am an American citizen. But America's greatness, in my respectful opinion, lies in its people, lies in its community, lies in neighborhoods like this one. And if we don't invest in them, we're not investing in America or America's greatness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jeremiah. Our next speaker is Brian Hudson, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Housing and Finance Agency. Hold on. Centennial Village was awarded low-income housing tax credits in February of 2014, and we want to thank Brian and all of the PHFA staff for working with us over the past 4 years as Centennial Village faced hurdle after hurdle while we raced towards the finish line today. I wanted to get that line in. PHFA is a critical partner to developers of affordable housing in Pennsylvania. It leads the way for other state housing finance agencies in the promotion of environmental sustainability, and it's an innovator in the area of affordable housing finance. Thank you, Brian.
Good morning, everyone. First, let me acknowledge my favorite board member, John Payon. John's a big supporter. Is Nancy Twyman here? I don't know if I saw Nancy. Nancy's a director in our Eastern region for PHFA. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm not sure if it was intentional that they sat me next to Calvin Jeremiah. But I had to put my hands in my pockets because Calvin, I told him I don't have any tax credits today. He can use every tax credit I have. Now, Calvin, you're a great partner, man. You keep doing what you're doing. It's a pleasure to be here. Senator Hughes, you mentioned every community does not have a person like my cousin, Lucinda Hudson. Now I got everybody thinking, are they related? Which is fantastic. And to me, in my mind, this is the way it should be. This is exactly the way it should be. We should be using these resources to transform the community. I got to touch again on Congressman Evans in D.C. You got it at the state level. You certainly get it at the Washington level, which I know how difficult that can be. But I am happy that you are there, and we got to keep you there. And sometimes I cross state lines. I mean, I go to Alaska. I don't go to Alaska, but when I go to D.C., I meet with the reps from Alaska, Florida, because we're all talking the same thing. These are about resources. So we got an increase in the credit. And this gets back to what Congressman Evans was referring to. We're funding 1 out of every 3 applications that come in the door. So we had 99 applications, 98. We fund 39. That's 60 that do not get funded. And they're all good applications. So we got a 12.5% increase. We asked for 50%. And they tell me, Brian, you're being greedy. I said, no, I'm not. When the next call comes from a district, I can't get to your project because I don't have enough resources. And I tell my colleagues to say the same thing across the country. New York, New Jersey, 1 out of every 4 applications. I come back to this is the way it should be. This is the right model. These resources transform neighborhoods to what they should be. You heard the theme, it's a partnership. Certainly starts at the federal level, local level. Councilman Jones, Mayor Kinney, your support, fantastic. We just got to do more of this. Vanessa Lowry Brown, I get the phone calls. Me and Senator Hughes talk on a regular basis, at least once, twice, 3 times a month. And if there's bigger issues, then we're on it. He's always looking for resources for PHFA. But we have to keep this going. I'm not going to make a promise of more credits. I know how competitive it would be, but we've got to bring more credits to Philadelphia for sure. Calvin, how many projects you want? 3? All right. 1 out of every 3, you get 1. But this is what it's all about. This is the model that I show to my colleagues across the country about what we're doing here in Pennsylvania. It works. I want to thank Jeff for your work. New markets tax credits in this neighborhood. This is how we do it. We got to keep showing this story. And Lucinda, to you and the Parkside Associations, congratulations and thank you for all that you've done and that you're about to do, because I know how hard this is. And David, you're right. It shouldn't take this long. 12 years to get this done. It should not take this long, especially not for those that we are serving. So thank you. It's a pleasure to have too damn long. Too damn long. Senator Hughes, we should put that in the newsletter. Too damn long, I think. Yeah, it will go on mine too.
It's been tweeted already.
Well, we got to get it tweeted in Washington.
Yeah.
All right. All right. But from PHFA, it's a pleasure to be a partner here, and we got to keep this going. You're right. We're at a plateau. This is not the peak. We have a lot of work to do, and I'm proud to be a partner of this organization and to keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. We are also pleased to have PICO as a partner for Centennial Village. Part of Centennial Village's mission is to achieve the highest levels of environmental sustainability. We expect to exceed Energy Star 3.0 for Centennial Village, and we also have photovoltaic arrays on top of this building and this building across the street to help us lower the energy load further. PICO provided rebates for the project due to its energy efficiency, and here to highlight some of Centennial Village's energy efficiency measures and to share more about PICO's Builder Rebates program is Tony Gay, Vice President of PICO.
Thank you, David. You know, I've followed Senator Hughes and the mayor and Councilman Jones and Congressman Evans many times, and you know, every time I follow them, I have to tear up my prepared remarks because they come in and they really start to have a church service. So I'm not going to do my prepared remarks. What I do want to say is really speak from the heart. So speaking from the heart, my grandparents lived here when they were living not too far on Palace Street. And I echo what was said. This is really transformative. When I came to visit my grandparents, this area did not look like this. I actually rode over here last night just because I wanted to look at things, and this is a real gateway to the community. So I do want to congratulate Lucinda and Community Ventures and everyone who had a part in this, because this really is a beautiful addition to West Parkside. So I would like to give them a round of applause. So just very briefly, PICO's part in this, in addition to providing energy to folks, we like to make sure that we do it in a safe, a smart way, an efficient way. We're probably one of the few companies who will actually pay you to use less of our product. And so these buildings not only are beautiful, but they're highly efficient. They use less energy than similar buildings would use. And we were happy to be a part of that. We were happy to help Community Ventures get a return on their investment through rebates. So that's PICO's part in this. But to continue the theme about the plateau and going to the peak, we are part of Philadelphia at PICO. We don't succeed unless Philadelphia succeeds. We are part of the communities in Philadelphia. We do things like job training, workforce development, STEM programs for our young people. We want to see our communities succeed. And so as you continue to march towards the plateau, please include us in this. We want to give you rebates. We want to be a part of your community, and we want to be a part of the success of West Parkside. So thank you very much. And again, congratulations. Thank you to our elected officials and everyone who worked to bring this to fruition.
Thank you, Mr. Gay. Parkside Association has been around for over 40 years. We became an organization in June of 1977. So we have been around for a minute. We have done many things over these years. But it was important to the community that we not only have affordable housing, but that Centennial Village continue the 52nd Street corridor improvements. Centennial Village includes over 7,000 square feet of commercial space, including the new home of the Parkside Association on 52nd Street. And we owe that to the West Philadelphia Neighborhood Funding Stream and the Commerce Department. Representing us in this area is Aisha Harry Miller, and I am going to bring her up. She has been with us since the inception of the Empowerment Zone when we first received the funding. And she has always been an advocate, plus she lived in the neighborhood.
Thank you so much, Lucinda. So I just want to say West is best, and I want to say that. And I had to change up my talking points a lot as well. But one thing I want to say is that Lucinda, when I came to the city, I moved here 16 years ago, or maybe almost 20 years ago, and I was wet behind the ears coming to work for the city. And Lucinda took me under her wing to really say, this is what we can do. And my job within the Philadelphia Department of Commerce, my job is to really look at neighborhoods. And like Senator Hughes said, I am here to provide resources to this community. And the Philadelphia Empowerment Zone and the Commerce Department, we dedicated $400,000 to the commercial space, and where that can provide goods and services to you, the residents that live here. And it gives the opportunity for Darlene Jones, that is a business owner that owns a business at 63rd and Lebanon, that she is going to be moving into the space right here at the corner. And you'll be able to enjoy her food today. The other thing is, too, that we provided $100,000 towards the streetscape development here as well. But like I said before, like was said, this neighborhood has really transformed, and it is with all the partners, your dedication and everything else. So thank you. And once again, West is best. Thank you so much. Oh, see, and I got so hyped with everything I was supposed to do. I am supposed to introduce Kenneth Woodson, which has been a great partner as well. He's been a great mentor. He is the VP of the Philadelphia Zoo and also the board chair of the West Philadelphia Empowerment Zoo.
I want my hat to blow away. Good afternoon to everyone. This is an amazing opportunity to participate in such an auspicious event. As has been noted, I'm Vice President of the Philadelphia Zoo, America's first zoo, and I get to participate with you in meaningful work throughout the year and every day of the year, which has always been a pleasure. But more important to me today is the role that I've had to play as chair of the West Philadelphia Empowerment Zone Community Trust Board. The board decided to invest $400,000 in this community. We did that because we viewed the Centennial Village as a capstone project to all the development that occurred over the last 40 years. Whether it's the Parkside Apartments that were renovated some 20 plus years ago, the Business and Technology Center that was done 25, 30 years ago, or all the work that was done at Belmont Avenue and around the community, the the shopping center that's been done. All of those represent major changes and evolving transformative projects. This is a capstone. This changes the view of Parkside for those who travel through. That's why it's such an important project. But in addition to investing in the brick and mortar, what we really did, we invested in the vision that was articulated by Lucinda and the Parkside community. You invest in a vision, you get a project that works. But Lucinda, one of the things that happened, and you will get this, as I thought about today and the work that you've done, you reminded me of that Old Testament individual, Nehemiah. Nehemiah went back to the community from whence he came. He heard that the community had been destroyed. He had to go back because his heart was aching. So Nehemiah went back at the direction of the king. And Nehemiah decided to rebuild the wall to the city. And he climbed up, and in spite of haters, people who told him he couldn't do it, he wouldn't do it, he was too stark, he didn't have enough to do it, he decided to build the wall anyhow. Lucinda, you came back to the community. You climbed up on the wall and you won't come down. You build it house by house, store by store. You continue to work this community, but your work isn't done. Nehemiah didn't leave until he finished. You can't leave yet. You got more work to do. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ken and Aisha. The support from Commerce and from Empowerment Zone helped us preserve the commercial use on 52nd, which we thought was really terribly important, and so we're really appreciative. I want to say just a couple more thanks to all the speakers. Completely lost my place. And I also want to say a special thank to KSK Architects. I know Paul is around here somewhere. Allied Construction. And then very special, I want to, and to Octavia Hill, who is also here. I want to say a thanks to the Community Ventures staff. I really think that, I hope they're visible. Can you stand up? Stephen J. Kaufman, our founder and former executive director, Patrick Isaac, Troy Hannigan, Elaine Taylor, who's way over there. And then our property management staff. Is Latoya here? I have not seen her. Joyce Smith, and then, Latoya and Leslie Harris. So you guys are more fantastic than you know. It's a joy to come to work every day. I love you all. Now for the fun part. The ribbon.